Okay, so today we're going to dive into something pretty cool, I think. The new 14-inch MacBook Pro.
Ooh.
Yeah, the one everyone's talking about. Specifically, we're looking at the model with the M4 Pro chip, 512 gigabytes of storage, and 24 gigabytes of memory.
Right.
Making waves. And we've got this Walmart Business Supplies product listing as our guide. And let me tell you, some of these specs are pretty eye-catching.
Yeah.
22 hours of battery life, Apple Intelligence. What is going on here? So let's break it all down, see if this MacBook Pro lives up to the hype, and most importantly, what it could mean for you as a user. What are your initial thoughts just looking at this listing?
Well, I've got to say the M4 Pro chip really jumps out at me. It seems like Apple is seriously pushing the limits of what a laptop can achieve.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine just like flying through tasks that would bog down your old machine?
Oh,
Like effortlessly compiling huge amounts of code or editing 8K video without breaking a sweat.
totally. It's not just about speed, though, right? It's about being able to handle those super demanding tasks that professionals and creatives rely on.
Right.
And this listing even mentions seamless integration with apps like Microsoft 365 and Adobe Creative Cloud, which, let's be honest, are essential tools for pretty much anyone in those fields.
You're telling me. And for those who crave even more power, there's always the option to upgrade to the M4 Max chip, which is basically designed for the absolute cutting edge of performance.
Oh, wow.
We're talking like serious 3D rendering, high-end video editing stuff that really pushes the boundaries.
Okay, so that's the power aspect. But there's this other thing that caught my eye. Apple Intelligence.
Oh, yes.
This listing makes it sound almost like something out of a sci-fi movie. What exactly are we dealing with here?
Well, think of it as having your own personal think tank right there in your laptop.
Okay.
It helps you express yourself more effectively, write more efficiently, and manage your tasks in a way that feels intuitive, almost predictive, like it knows what you need before you even do.
So is this like Siri but on steroids?
It's definitely a step beyond Siri. Apple Intelligence is meant to be woven into the entire macOS experience, making it feel like a natural extension of how you work. And maybe even more importantly in this day and age, it's built with a laser focus on privacy.
That's huge these days, especially with all the concerns about data security. So in a practical sense, what does that mean? Does Apple have access to my data with this Apple Intelligence thing?
Well, Apple has been very clear that all the data processing for Apple Intelligence happens locally on your device. It's not sent to the cloud, and Apple doesn't analyze it. So your information stays yours.
Okay, that's good to know. It does say in this listing, though, that it's still in beta. So is it really ready for prime time, or should we wait and see how it develops?
I'd say it's a bit of both. It's
Ah.
available on Macs with M1 chips or later, but right now it's limited to US English.
Ah, I see.
The plan is to roll out support for more languages and features over the next year. So yeah, it's definitely a technology that's still evolving.
Exciting, but lots more to come. Okay, let's move on to something a bit more concrete. That incredible 22-hour battery life. Is that even possible?
It's definitely a bold claim. They're suggesting that this MacBook Pro is designed to perform consistently whether you're plugged in or not.
Right.
So 22 hours is probably based on pretty specific usage patterns. But still, for someone like you who's always on the go, it could be a game changer.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine getting a full day's work done without even having to think about a power outlet.
No more range anxiety for my laptop. Love that. Okay, the display. They call it Liquid Retina XDR. It boasts 1,600 nits of peak brightness and a 1,000.1 contrast ratio. What does that even mean for someone who's not a display tech expert?
Okay, imagine you're working on a photo edit outside, bright sunlight and everything.
Yeah.
With this display, the image is going to be just as vibrant and clear as if you were sitting in a dimly lit room. That's the power of 1,600 nits. And the contrast ratio basically means that blacks are truly black. Colors just pop. And the details are unbelievably sharp.
Wow.
So for photographers, videographers, or anyone who works with the visuals, this display is basically a dream come true.
That's impressive. And let's not forget the audio-visual experience. This MacBook Pro has a 12MP center stage camera that keeps you perfectly framed during video calls. It's like having your own personal camera crew. Plus, 3 studio-quality mics and 6 speakers with spatial audio.
Yeah, it seems like Apple is really going all out to make online meetings and content creation top-notch. No more struggling to be heard or dealing with tunny speakers.
For sure.
They even have support for Dolby Atmos for an even richer, more immersive sound experience.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The ports. I'm a firm believer that a good laptop needs a good selection of ports. What do we got here?
Oh, they Definitely didn't skimp on the ports with this one.
Yeah.
You get 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, MagSafe 3, an SDXC card slot, HDMI, and they even kept the headphone jacket. It's like they're covering all the bases.
Awesome. Thunderbolt 4 is pretty powerful, right? Can you connect multiple external displays?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The M4 Pro in this model supports up to 2 external displays, so you can really expand your workspace.
Okay.
And if you go for the M4 Max, you can connect up to 4. Yeah, imagine the possibilities.
Hold on, 4 displays. That seems a bit excessive, doesn't it? I mean, 2 is already pushing it for me.
Yeah, for most people, 2 is probably plenty. But imagine you're a financial analyst tracking multiple data streams in real time, or a video editor with multiple timelines and preview windows open. In those cases, having 4 displays can be a huge productivity boost.
Okay, I see your point. It's about having the flexibility to customize your workflow to fit your needs. Okay, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that's becoming increasingly important these days: privacy and security. The listing says that privacy and security are built right in. What does that actually look like in this MacBook Pro?
Well, Apple has always had a pretty strong reputation for taking security seriously. And this MacBook Pro seems to be no exception. It comes with built-in defenses against malware and viruses, so you can browse online without constantly looking over your shoulder.
Okay, so it's like having a bodyguard for your data. That's good to know, especially with all the online threats these days. But let's say I'm having a particularly forgetful day and I misplace my laptop. What happens then?
Not to worry, Apple has a solution for that too. Find My helps you track down your MacBook Pro, even if it's not connected to the internet.
And if someone less forgetful than myself finds it and tries to access my data?
With File Vault, your files are encrypted. So even if someone gets their hands on your laptop, they can't actually see any of your sensitive information. It's like having a digital vault for your data.
That's a relief. Okay, I'm noticing a bit of a theme here. Apple seems to be focusing on not just power and performance, but on making this MacBook Pro a tool that really empowers you while also keeping your data safe.
You've hit the nail on the head. This MacBook Pro is not just about specs. It's about how those specs translate into a smooth, secure, and empowering experience for the user.
All right, so we've talked a lot about what this MacBook Pro is. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about what it might mean for the future of computing. This whole Apple Intelligence thing, for example, is it just a fancy gimmick, or could it actually change how we work?
Personally, I think Apple Intelligence has the potential to be a real game changer.
In what way?
I mean, imagine a world where your laptop learns your work habits, anticipates your needs, and even helps you solve problems before you even realize you have them.
That sounds incredibly helpful,
Yep.
but also kind of creepy. Is my laptop going to start finishing my sentences for me?
Haha. Maybe not finishing your sentences, but perhaps it could suggest relevant information or even automate those tedious, repetitive tasks. Think about how much time we waste scheduling meetings or formatting documents.
Oh, tons.
Apple Intelligence could handle all that in the background, freeing you up to focus on the bigger picture.
I could definitely get used to that. But isn't there a risk that we become too reliant on this kind of AI assistance? Like, do we lose some of our own skills in the process?
It's a valid concern, for sure. But think of it this way. Just as calculators didn't make basic math skills obsolete, Apple Intelligence wouldn't replace human ingenuity or creativity.
So it's more about enhancing our existing abilities.
Exactly. It could act as a powerful amplifier, letting us achieve more than we ever could alone.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. But let's zoom out a bit. What does this new MacBook Pro with all its bells and whistles tell us about the future of computing as a whole?
I think it reflects a couple of key trends that are shaping the industry.
Okay, like what?
First, the lines between our work lives and personal lives are getting blurrier all the time.
Right.
We need devices that can seamlessly transition between those roles. And this MacBook Pro, with its combination of power and portability, fits that bill perfectly.
Absolutely. It's no longer about having a separate work computer and a home computer.
Right. It's about having one device that can do it all and do it well.
Okay, that's one trend. What's the other?
The other big trend is the increasing importance of the ecosystem. This MacBook Pro isn't just a standalone device. It's designed to work seamlessly with iPhones, iPads, Apple Watches, the whole suite of Apple products.
So it's about creating a connected experience where all your devices work together.
Exactly. It's like having a team of digital assistants, each with its own strengths, all working in harmony to make your life easier.
That makes sense. But let's be real, not everyone is fully on board with the Apple ecosystem. What about people who prefer Windows or Linux? Does this MacBook Pro have any relevance for them?
I think there are still some valuable takeaways, even for those who aren't in the Apple camp.
Okay.
This MacBook Pro represents a vision for the future of computing, a vision that emphasizes power portability, security, and seamless integration.
Right.
These are all trends that are shaping the entire industry, regardless of the operating system.
So it's about looking beyond the brand and seeing the bigger picture of what's possible in the world of technology.
You got it. It's about pushing boundaries, exploring new ideas, and constantly raising the bar for what a laptop can be.
All right, so we've talked about the what and the why of this new MacBook Pro. Let's get a bit more practical. Let's say someone listening is thinking about getting a new laptop. What factors should they consider when deciding if this MacBook Pro is the right choice for them?
Well, the first and most important thing is to really think about your needs and how you plan to use the laptop. What are your must-have features? What are your absolute deal breakers?
Right, because this MacBook Pro, as impressive as it is, might be a bit overkill for someone who just needs a basic laptop for browsing the web and checking email.
You're absolutely right. Then there's the budget. This is a premium device, so it's important to weigh the cost against the value it brings to your workflow. Do you really need all the bells and whistles? Or would a more affordable option do the job just as well?
It's all about choosing the right tool for the job. And sometimes the most expensive tool isn't necessarily the best fit.
Exactly. And it's also worth thinking about the ecosystem. If you're already deeply invested in Apple products, this MacBook Pro will fit right in. But if you're more of a Windows or Android user, it might make more sense to stick with a device that aligns with your existing setup.
It's about finding a device that complements your digital life, not complicates it.
Precisely. And finally, don't underestimate the power of personal preference. Some people just love the look and feel of a Mac, while others are more comfortable with Windows.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the best laptop for you is the one that feels right in your hands and inspires you to do your best work.
So it's not just about specs or features. It's about finding a device that fits your personality and your workflow. Now let's get real for a moment. This MacBook Pro is clearly aimed at a specific type of user. Who do you think is the ideal customer for this machine?
Well, I think this MacBook Pro is tailor-made for professionals and creatives who demand the absolute best from their technology. We're talking about people who push their devices to the limit, whether they're editing 8K video, developing complex software, or designing intricate 3D models.
Okay.
They need a machine that can keep up with their demanding workflows and empower them to bring their visions to life.
So it's for those who see technology as an enabler, a tool that helps them achieve their goals and push creative boundaries.
Exactly. And for those users, this MacBook Pro is more than just a laptop. It's an investment in their craft.
But what about someone who is not necessarily a high-powered professional? Can they still benefit from this MacBook Pro, or would they be better off with something else?
That's a great question. While this MacBook Pro is definitely capable of handling everyday tasks like browsing the web, checking email, and social media, it might be overkill for someone who doesn't need all that extra power and those fancy features.
It's about finding the right balance between capability and practicality, right?
Exactly. If you value a smooth and seamless user experience, appreciate sleek and stylish design, and want a device that can keep up with you for years to come, then this MacBook Pro is definitely worth considering. But if your needs are more basic, there are plenty of other laptops out there that might be a better fit.
It's all about finding the sweet spot between your needs, your budget, and your tech aspirations. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when discussing new tech longevity. How future-proof is this MacBook Pro?
That's an important question. With technology evolving so rapidly, you want a device that will stay relevant for years to come.
Yeah.
And I think this MacBook Pro is well positioned in that regard.
Okay, what makes you say that?
Well, Apple's M-series chips have a proven track record of being both powerful and efficient. And Apple is known for providing software updates for their devices for several years.
So I could expect this MacBook Pro to stay fast and secure for a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can expect this MacBook Pro to stay snappy and secure for quite some time. And beyond the hardware itself, Apple Intelligent is a constantly evolving technology.
Right.
As Apple develops new features and capabilities, this MacBook Pro will continue to learn and adapt, becoming even more powerful and intuitive over time.
So it's not just about the specs you get today, it's about the potential for growth and improvement in the future?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This MacBook Pro is designed to be a long-term companion, one that evolves alongside your needs and helps you stay ahead of the curve.
I like that. All right, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture. We've talked a lot about the technical details and the practical considerations, but what about the emotional side of technology? What does this MacBook Pro say about our relationship with technology?
That's a really interesting question. I think this MacBook Pro reflects a desire for a more harmonious relationship with technology.
Okay, in what way?
It's about creating devices that are not just powerful,
Yeah.
but also intuitive, personal, and even inspiring.
So it's about moving beyond the purely functional and embracing the idea that technology can enhance our lives in more meaningful ways.
Exactly. It's about creating tools that empower us to be more creative, more productive, and more connected to the things that matter most.
It's a vision for the future where technology is not just something we use, but something that helps us become the best versions of ourselves.
Well said. And I think this MacBook Pro, with all its innovative features and forward-thinking design, is a step in that direction.
It's a reminder that technology at its best can be a force for good, helping us achieve things we never thought possible and connecting us to the world in new and exciting ways.
Absolutely. And as technology continues to evolve, it'll be fascinating to see how this relationship between humans and machines continues to unfold.
It's a journey full of possibilities, both exciting and challenging. But one thing's for sure, technology is here to stay. And it's up to us to shape its future in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
That's a powerful message to end on.
And on that note, we'll wrap up part 2 of our deep dive into the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. Join us in part 3, where we'll shift our focus from the tech itself to what it might mean for you, the listener.
We'll explore how this MacBook Pro might fit into your life, what features might be most important to you, and how you can make an informed decision about whether this is the right device for you. We'll also consider some alternative options and discuss the pros and cons of each.
So we've talked about all the cool features and potential of this new MacBook Pro, but the real question is, would this actually be something you'd consider buying?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, it all comes down to what you need and what you're looking for in a laptop.
Yeah.
What were your biggest takeaways from our conversation? What really stood out to you?
Well, for me personally, that 22-hour battery life is a huge selling point.
Yeah, I can see why.
Imagine being able to work a full day, maybe even travel, and not even have to think about finding an outlet. That kind of freedom would be amazing.
Absolutely. It takes away that always searching for a charger stress.
Exactly. But practicality aside, some of the features that really got me excited were the Liquid Retina XDR display.
Yeah.
And the possibilities of Apple Intelligence. The display just sounds incredible, and having an AI assistant that helps you work smarter, not harder, is pretty appealing.
It's like having a super-powered sidekick.
Right. But of course, there are some things that give me pause too, like the price tag.
Of course. It's definitely a premium device.
You're paying for the best. And I have to weigh that against my budget and whether I really need all the bells and whistles. And honestly, while I appreciate Apple's focus on privacy and security, I'm still a little wary of AI and how our data might be used.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. It's a trade-off we have to consider.
For sure. So for those who might be on the fence about this MacBook Pro, what other options are out there?
Well, if budget is a big concern, there are tons of great Windows laptops that offer a good balance of performance and features.
Right.
And if you're already in the Apple ecosystem, but want something lighter and maybe a bit more affordable, the MacBook Air is still a fantastic choice.
It all comes down to finding the right tool for the job.
Exactly. And don't forget about personal preference. Some people just prefer Macs, while others are more comfortable with Windows.
Absolutely. In the end, the best laptop is the one that you enjoy using, and that helps you get things done.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So we've talked a lot about the individual user, but taking a step back, what does the release of this MacBook Pro tell us about the tech industry as a whole?
That's interesting. I think it points towards a shift towards a more human-centric approach to technology.
Okay, I like that.
It's not just about specs and features anymore. It's about creating devices that are intuitive, adaptive, and actually understand our needs.
So technology that's more like a partner than just a tool.
Exactly. It's about designing things that help us be more creative, more productive, and more connected to the things that matter.
And as technology continues to advance at such a rapid pace, it's more important than ever that we as users stay informed and engaged.
I agree. We need to be aware of the potential impact of technology and make conscious choices about how we use it.
Well said. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the nitty-gritty details of the new MacBook Pro to the broader implications for the future of technology. Hopefully, this conversation has given you a better understanding of this new device and sparked some interesting thoughts.
It's been a great discussion, and we've only scratched the surface. But ultimately, the most important thing is to stay curious, explore new possibilities, and make informed decisions about the role technology plays in our lives.
And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you next time.